So Shep, you asked a question. I think you asked what would happen if she stepped out. She said she didn't know. She said either
Yeah.
she would wither away to nothing and become an elderly um, person, or she may just start to age normally from her apparent age, which is about your age, 21, maybe 22. And then you asked another question. If you would please repeat that.
Yeah. Do we know whether any of the other people that she's mentioned, because I know we've seen like the old pictures and stuff. Do we know whether any of them are actually still
I'd like a
around?
common knowledge roll from each of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Common knowledge. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a lot of dice.
Yay!
That's a lot of dice. It's a lot of dice. Okay.
I love how the local is the one who's like, eh.
I know, right? I'm like, oh man, Shep, you're supposed to know all these people.
Let's see. Who would that have been? Would have been images. Would have been images. Probably props. Handouts.
Like,
Matthew Gray, Lisa Gray,
think the woman with the dark hair.
That would be personalities, maybe.
I always forget her name.
Personalities. Pinebox Protectors. Bring that image up. Share it.
Yeah.
You were sent this sepia tinted photograph, an old photograph, at the end of your freshman year. Mm-hmm. Judith Fowler looks just like she does in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Helen LaCroix. You don't know what became of her, other than a rumor that she drowned in a lake.
Damn.
Okay.
Jack Little, nothing was heard of him after like the early 1950s. He and Helen appear to have like vanished at the same time. Nina Castle, she died in the basement of the Roost. They thought that she was in there after hours and fell into a pile of live wires where electrical work was being done, and managed to immolate herself in a freak accident. And there was nothing left of her but like her skull and teeth. Professor Daniels was aged. He was found, although he would have been about 50 years old, they found the withered husk of a man of like 100 years old, dead. And they only knew it was him because he had like an ID bracelet on, because he was prone to like having seizures. And the dental records matched. So they could not, they just thought maybe he had died, and they couldn't figure out when he had died. Perhaps they thought, well, the evidence is that he died a week ago, but it could have been a month or more ago, and he just appeared to be old because he was like a desiccated husk, or perhaps in some way something sucked the moisture out of his corpse, making it look brittle and mummified. But no, he in metagamey terms, it looks like he was aged 50 years in a day and died. Mm-hmm. And Creighton White is committed to an asylum in Lufkin, Texas, where he continues to live his life as an inmate, not an inmate. What do they call them? An inmate? As a guest of the asylum. And you can imagine him
or something.
wearing, yeah, you can imagine him wearing a straitjacket and babbling incoherently.
Poor guy.
So Helen and Jack, kind of a mystery. Creighton's still alive. Professor Daniels died with the moisture, whatever, sucked out of him. Nina Castle, she died. And you think that the unknown girl might have just been the one that looks a little bit like a young Susan Day from the Partridge Family. You think she might have just been like a friend of Nina's that just happened to be in the picture, but isn't directly
Yeah.
affiliated with them. And
Okay, so this isn't. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Oh no, I'm getting photographs mixed up in my head. This isn't the one with the lady that didn't age from the Nazi guy.
No.
She's not in this photo. Okay.
No, she is not.
Yeah, I had mixed it up too. There's a different girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let me give you her name just so it's on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, I always forget her name, and I was like, I know this woman because we did the Nazi one.
Her name is Jennifer Chapman.
Jennifer Chapman.
Jennifer Chapman
Okay.
was the attractive brunette, she had dark, striking black hair and sort of dark features, probably like Brazilian or Venezuelan maybe, and she is pictured in a great many of Heimglimmer's pictures. They were photographed in front of the State House in Austin, Texas, and there's a few pictures of him like fly fishing or at a baseball game, but she's in some of the more formal photographs. She is also, in the early years, photographed somewhere maybe in Cairo wearing like archaeological attire, like a big wide brim khaki colored hat with sort of the veil that ties under the woman's chin, and wearing kind of like those ridiculous shorts with the real flared hem, you know what I mean? And like comfortable linen shirts and a wide belt, probably carrying like a hammer or a pick in one hand, and she had a backpack over her, slung over her shoulder. And Heimglimmer, a much younger, pre-World War II, pre-Nazi era Heimglimmer, similarly, decked out.
Okay. So I will look at Judith and go, from what we know after the convergence, we only know of one person that is alive, but they are not. They're in the asylum. That would be Creighton.
Yeah.
That's awful. Only
Nina passed away. I think probably, from what we understand, she was making sure something wasn't found. From what little we know,
the cross.
That sounds about right. I'm not 100.
Oh, I remember finding that.
Yeah, that's the adventure where poor.
Oh no, I know. I'm just. I don't really want to.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see Creighton again. Maybe in some way I could bring his mind back right again. He was such a. Oh, he was. If you knew him, he was back then. He was so charming, so boyish and awkward.
Uh,
A little bit like
and
you, Shep. I judge.
Helen disappeared. Rumor was a drowning accident, but nobody knows for sure. And around the same time, Jack disappeared, but nobody knows.
Then I know what happened. Perhaps they were successful in stopping the convergence, and
When we're
perhaps they
targeted.
had to move on to somewhere where they weren't known and live out the remainder of their days, uh,
Possibly.
in peace. Oh,
Uh,
I'd love to think that. It's a romantic notion, I
Professor
know.
Daniels was found aged, uh, aged beyond his years.
She
Mm.
blanches a little bit. That's awful.
Um,
Miscasting a ritual could do that, but it would have to be
mhm.
a ritual of immense power. Um, that the blowback would be that extreme.
Ew.
Hmm.
Please, won't you take me to Creighton? I would so like to see him, even if he's not quite right. Maybe I can touch him in some way.
Oh, and by the way, we did notice that this this building has a watcher.
Now that you look up,
Yeah.
there is
Hmm.
something. There is that whatever it is outside of the window, looking into this room.
And there he is, and I point.
She squints a
We're
little
still
bit
ready.
and says, "What is that? Is it a turkey vulture?"
We're hoping it's not something we've seen before.
Oh, she says, tell me about the cars. I know that this sanctuary of ours doesn't emit sounds out when sealed, but I can hear what's going on outside. People laughing and talking, and the cars going by. Tell me about the cars.
I described the cars.
Okay,
Lots of pickups.
pickups. I don't know,
like a truck.
trucks.
Yes, Shep has one.
You'll
Can
see it soon, hopefully. And I've been looking around, looking at this circle she's in
mhm.
because it's obviously different and apparently was not. I'll just ask her: did you make this circle or did the coven?
They must have made it, or somebody else made it. I did not. I happened upon here to pick up extra ritual components for stopping the convergence, and I was beset upon, and they placed me here.
Hmm.
And they did incantations to lock me, if you will. They locked me into the circle, and then they left cackling to try to stop Helen and Jack and the professor and the others from succeeding in stopping the convergence.
Okay. And I'm just kind of looking to see, is this something that looks like it can be? Do I understand it? Does it look like something I can break or?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the one vision you had, you did rub a portion of it out, and she collapsed into yours and Sophia's arms, gasping and thanking you profusely for release.
Come here, Sophia.
I'm here.
Sophia.
I'm here.
Over here by me. Thank
I'm
you.
here.
And I go and kind of place us where we were at and try to and break the seal.
Yeah, it just looks like chalk. Some of it is colored chalk.
I could just like smudge it with my shoe,
Sure.
and it'll break, right?
It is literally
Mhm.
that easy. Yeah, she collapses out of the broken segment, the broken arc of the circle, and does collapse into your arms, sort of
Okay.
sighing and panting, and says, I. She's looking at her hands, and she says, I don't seem to be turning to dust. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I help her over and set her in the chair that's over here in the corner behind me.
Okay.
Like, is it safe in there? Is it fine?
I'm safe here.
I need the protection of my sandwich, please.
Come to the sandwich.
Super soaker, I'm here. Hello.
And just because Shep probably would have had at least one croissant put up in his hoodie pocket, he'll hand her a croissant.
Okay.
This man walking around with a croissant in his pocket.
She reaches and she says, so long since I've tasted food. So long since I've eaten. So long since I've tasted human flesh. And she turns as her hand reaches for that croissant, the claws grow like iron curved daggers. Spikes sprout from her back. Her delicate feet turn into goat hooves. She sprouts a gray forked tail. Her face becomes a mask of torment. Wide, pointy teeth. In a manner of speaking, she looks a little bit like Venom from the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And she casts the croissant aside and says, "This is not
That's a good croissant.
This is not what I hunger for.
Croissant.
I will drink your blood and eat your flesh," she says. And that, I think, is where we're going to call it for the evening.
Of course it is.
Let me just real quick before I forget. I should be able to drag the.
She is the true villain for knocking aside a perfectly fine croissant.
Who does that, right? Who does that?
Who does that? Who
So
wastes
rude.
food
Who
like
does
that?
that?
You gotta get the super soaker just for that. I'm completely overlooked the fact
At least I have some code iron bullets.
I'm glad we came prepared for battle.
You guys,
I'm feeling over prepared. Now I don't.
I have this gun on me, this little shooter, a little holy water shooter thing. Oh man, I'm so.
You came loaded for bear, I think is the expression. Loaded for bear.
Man. Here we go.
I knew something was up, but
yeah,
I wasn't sure if it was this or if one of those two guys was in cahoots with the coven.
All right. Can you see her now? I changed her token to represent.
I can't see any of the pictures. It's a square with a red square with a red question mark in it.
Okay, we'll have to fix that.
It's very strange.
Oh, no.
Hopefully,
I saw the picture.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, then maybe I have to go. Let me pull up the Judith Fowler unlock.
Yeah, it looks like the
unlock her.
I'm guessing it's just me.
Unlock her character record. Drag that image there, and then close that, and then.
I am proud of Shep though. He has strategically somehow placed himself in between you two and her.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, you have. So
I tell you what,
dismiss the Mary Lynn's Books map and let me reshare it, and let's see if it updates.
Okay.
Let me reshare. See.
By the way, does anybody know what this little play button is that's down in the corner now?
It condenses everything in the right side.
Yeah, in stages, right? First the words go away, or they're abbreviated, and then
There
all
we go.
all that's
Okay,
left
nice.
is the icon.
It's weird. I
Right,
still
nice.
can't see it.
All right, let's see here. I'll try to okay, I'll bring up her
Well,
her custom sheet.
Gives you a little extra real estate when
Pull
you
this,
condense
yeah,
it.
because real estate is
mhm.
pricey. We need our real estate. I'll try to change
And
that
so
icon to that.
I think you're
Lock it.
probably. It's a good thing you can't see it because it's not pretty.
So
I
I'll
mean,
delete the token. I'll delete that token. I'll
I
delete
can
her
share with
from
friend what
the
we're staring at.
combat tracker. I will once
And
again I will drag her to the tracker. She is there. And then I will add her back to the map.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that didn't work. No, she's on the combat tracker. I should just
Damn.
be able to just
I
drop her. And
I
then I'll
need to
make her.
talk to whoever makes these is in charge of these visions because they're leaving some serious parts out.
Yeah. Can
Like
you
we needed to see the Speedo.
yeah. Can you see her now? Can you see the demon token now?
No, I cannot.
It's a square with a question mark, huh?
Yep. Yep.
Then maybe
Odd.
the next time you start Fantasy Grounds, maybe it will sync. I'm
I hope
thinking.
so.
Yeah. At any rate, Shep, I don't know if you remember, but I've been waiting for this for a long time, probably more than a year, because you critical failed your spirit roll for this particular vision. So
Yeah.
I had to come up with an alternate representation.
Dang.
So yeah, on that we will call tonight. I will stop recording, and we will
That's wild.
pick back up on the flip side.